Week in review, April 1st, 2024. Ad Extremis, 1978. Hey Dave, may I respectfully request more details of how the age group qualifier finals is going to look? All I see is that it's over 6 days. Do I need to take vacation to get the workouts done and special time constraints? Last year's first two had to be completed in 24 hours. Thank you in advance. Hold on, Doug's pulling on my shit. Come here. Get over here. More details on that will come eventually. Not right now, not currently. But you should be fine. At Burn1808. Hey Dave, I watched the recent Danielle Brandon documentary in which you participated. It speaks to her high respect for you that she asked you to be part of her intimate life story. The video opened my eyes in that I always viewed her as just very glamorous and brash and with other false assumptions. But now I know her journey was almost the opposite of that. A fight for every inch of success and against tough odds. You worked closely with hundreds of elite, celebrated athletes and personality throughout your time running the games and have unequivocally always played it straight and fair. But beneath the poker face surface, is there a special place in your heart for those who rise from tremendous adversity, the underdogs and the scrappers? I suspect that there is. Yeah, so for sure, I think people who have life stories of overcoming adversity and doing something unique or significant, it's easy to relate and connect with people like that and stories like that. In the case of the Danielle documentary, I'm really excited for her and happy that she's told her story in a way that she's comfortable with, and the community actually gets to see this side of her. Because there has been an impression of her that was essentially incomplete, not knowing a lot of these other pieces. Years ago, too, when I first met her and learned a little bit about her story and got to know her and talked with her, it was interesting because I told my team, I'm like, hey, this girl is, she's going to be something special in the community. Her story and her fight and her attitude, it's really going to resonate with our crowd. And over the years, it has. And this is just another piece in her puzzle and her story that will make her more relatable to our audience and people. And now here's the deal: like a lot of individuals have their own unique story, and some choose to share it, and others don't. She is choosing to share hers, and what that is doing is going to make her incredibly more relatable. So with a large number of our audience, and not only relatable, but someone you want to get behind and cheer for. So really proud of her for doing this, and honored that I was asked to be involved, and glad I can contribute in any possible way that I could to help her with that story, with her story. At Hancock6624, people moved in on them, so it's a fair war. So he's talking about the mountain lions. Last week I talked about the mountain lion that attacked two individuals while they were out shedding. Shedding is looking for antlers in north of Sacramento, actually east of Sacramento towards Tahoe. And so one was killed and one was severely injured. And so this person's comment is people moved in on them first, so it's a fair war. That's pretty twisted if you ask me. He's talking about it being a war now, where these two innocent people were out there looking for deer antlers, and a mountain lion attacked them and killed them, and now saying it's a fair war. And actually, with that statement, it's not even a fair war in California. It's not a war, first of all, and it's not even fair because they're incredibly protected. So you can't hunt them at all. We can't do any population control on them. So still a really unique statement to make. And then there's a few other statements around the mountain lion piece that I'm going to also batch in with this one. That lion attack was 6 miles from my parents' house. Second time that I can remember we had a person killed by a cat. Crazy. People moved in on, I'm going back to the first one, people moved in on them, so it's a fair war. The question is how, I think this was out in the woods and out in the forest. It was off a road. I do know that, but it wasn't like in a neighborhood or a community. So this aspect of people moved in on them, it's a fair war. I'm not buying that. So this person who commented, the lion attack was 6 miles from my parents' house. Second time I can remember we had a person killed by a cat. My question to him is how far out there was this attack in general to neighborhoods and populations? And then here's another one. I don't know the details as Dave don't, but I am pretty sure that human population, especially growing living areas mixed with climate change, prey moving to lower areas due to drought, etc., is the main reason of mountain lions getting in contact with humans, causing accidental meets. They're not the problems, humans are. They're not the problems, humans are. That's another trippy one, and maybe it's because I'm reading the Bible right now and I have so much respect for our existence and being. To say that they're not the problem, humans are. Again, these two individuals were in the woods and they were attacked by a mountain lion. And to say that they're not the problems, humans are, it's an interesting perspective. It's a perspective that obviously it's yours to have. I don't have to agree with it. And even let's go earlier in this sentence. Let me just reread this whole thing. I don't know the details as Dave don't, is how he said it, as Dave don't. I don't know the details as Dave does not or doesn't, but I am pretty sure that human population and especially growing living areas mixed with climate change, prey moving to lower areas due to drought, etc., is the main reason of mountain lions getting in contact with humans, causing accidental meets. So climate change and humans are the problem here, is what this guy is suggesting. And his handle is Abstract Genius Comments. Maybe he's just fishing. I hope he's just fishing. Maybe he's just trolling me. I hope he is. Let's go on to the next one. Go back to the mountain lion thing. I mean, here's the deal. I've never been attacked, thankfully. A lot of people have never been attacked. So it's not like, let me just say this. It's not like mountain lions are just attacking people left and right. But there have been attacks, and recently one person died. So it's something to talk about and note. And the mountain lion population in California is growing is growing out of control because there is no way to control the population. And hey, here's the deal: like something does have to give, especially as humans inhabit California. Are we going to prioritize mountain lion lives, or are we going to prioritize human lives if mountain lions start getting more aggressive? And I don't know, man. Like this notion of we're moving into their or we're growing population into their territory. This is a massive state. There's a lot of land. I guess you could say, especially in Southern California, maybe that's more of the case. But up here, there's still a ton of open space. At Karina Rain, the Dave Chronicles, man, the day these stop is going to be a sad day. Hope these live on forever, kind of like the journal. Well, thank you. Thanks for the praise. At Bryanson Del Monte, 1431. Hey, Dave, why are you destroying CrossFit's brand by reposting that horrible 550 back squat that wasn't even close to depth? The guy who claimed 550 back squat and 457 mile in the same hour. Thanks. I disagree that that's destroying CrossFit's brand. If you think that's destroying CrossFit's brand, that's a bold statement to make without having any evidence of that. I'll tell you what, me reposting someone back squatting 550 and not hitting depth is not what's going to destroy CrossFit's brand. I wish I had that much power that I could destroy and make it with one simple post. But I will say this, just because I post that individual's effort does not mean it's necessarily an endorsement. Right? There's plenty of things, and this is that dilemma we live in nowadays, where you can't even have someone on your, let's say, on your network without it being automatically an endorsement of or giving them a platform or this weird realm of because you have a dissenting view or someone with a different opinion or voice, you can't engage with them. You can't platform them. This is the same sort of thing. So just because I repost it doesn't mean I agree with his depth, doesn't agree I support the effort. It means I was intrigued by it and I think it's fascinating and I wanted to share it with the community. And maybe, honestly, I didn't do it for this, but maybe I wanted to share it with the community so everyone could say, hey, his depth is high. There will be things that I post that aren't the most perfect expression of or of CrossFit or something that I even believe in or agree with. I'll give you another example. I've deleted a lot of my previous posts about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I just got bored with having thousands of posts, so I just went through and deleted. But there was a time when I would post books on climate change. And if I posted that I read a book from one perspective, people lost their shit on me. How could you read this? How could you support this? And then I'd post from the other side, and still the same thing. It's not taking a side. It's just educating myself on both sides. And so my point being, just because I post a book or something doesn't mean as it's an endorsement of. And I think people lose sight of that at times. So this question is why I'm destroying CrossFit Band by reposting that horrible 550 back squat that wasn't even close to depth. Maybe I was trying to make you guys better coaches so you could see that and you could call him out on his squat depth. At Mr. Bassman83. Hey Dave, I've currently been training at an unaffiliated gym that follows CrossFit functional programming, and I love it. I love the methodology. My question is, after you complete reading the different religious texts, do you plan to dive deeper into understanding the content, i.e. systematic theology or commentaries? It is one thing to read through them and you can absorb a lot, but it's a whole other thing to understand the overarching themes. Yes, not at a super deep level, but on a higher surface level kind of. Yes, I do want to understand the content and dive into some commentaries on all of the text for sure. Back to your first statement. I have currently been training at an unaffiliated gym that follows CrossFit functional programming, and I love it. Love the methodology. You should go to an affiliate. Okay, next topic. At Andreas Toscano. Hi, Dave. I've been doing CrossFit for 12 years now and just completed my 11th Open. One of the things I've always found important in and unique about CrossFit are the benchmark, aka redoing workouts. What was the reason for not having a redo this year in the Open? As much as I like 24.3, I feel like 19.5 or 21.3 could have done a similar job while keeping a redo in the mix. Thanks for your work and your week in review videos. Glad you're back. Thanks. You're right, 21.3 or 19.5 could have done a similar job while keeping a redo in the mix. I think redos, especially in the Open, became a little more interesting with the 3-week format. Meaning in the 5-week format, it was always pretty easy to have a redo because there's 5 weeks of Open and 5 opportunities to plug one in. With the 3-week format, I think it makes it a little more, you have to be very deliberate and thoughtful about it. And so last year they had a redo in the Open, which was good. This year we did not. Maybe last year we might. But it was very deliberate and thought through, and we decided not to have a redo this year, which they are important. And I do think biasing towards having them more often than not is a better approach. But again, every rule is made to be broken or to riff on. And so this year we decided not to. Does not mean that's going to be the norm, but it's just how we did it this year. And here's the thing about redoing for everyone's knowledge, and I think everyone does know this, but it's all about tracking progress and seeing yourself get better as an athlete or not, and seeing how much improvement you've had with the methodology. So in terms of actually, I believe most gyms don't do enough retesting in their own programming, in their own CrossFit journey on a regular basis. I think some workouts should be retested every 4 to 8 weeks, and even some stuff you can retest in little microcycles every 1 to 2 weeks. There's a lot of little things, even in my own programming, that I'll do, and then within a week or two, I'll retest just to see little progress, and then over the course of a longer time frame, there's a lot of other things I'll revisit. So retesting and revisiting, I think it feels underutilized currently, but should be more prioritized amongst all programmers and gym owners. At Chris Grant, Dave, thanks for your week in review. I love the format and was inspired to do something in my last job. Cool. Do you have any comment on the Rogue Invitational coming to Scotland? Does it set a precedent or a testing ground for the games to be held outside of the U.S. in the future? Finally, are you coming to Scotland for Rogue? Would be happy to share whiskey and some huggies. I probably won't go to Scotland for Rogue. Does it set a precedent or a testing ground for the games to be held outside? We've been planning on taking the games outside of the U.S. for a very long time. There's kind of a little target in my mind for when that's going to happen. Does this set any precedent for it or testing ground for it? No, not really. We're planning on doing that eventually anyways. And I think what the testing ground for us in terms of holding the games outside the U.S. have been things well before the Rogue Invitational, like even semifinals, before that regionals, and knowing how they do that. Before that, the CrossFit Invitational. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but before there was the Rogue Invitational, there was a CrossFit Invitational. And the CrossFit Invitational was Team USA versus Team Europe versus Team Australia versus Team Canada. Prior to that, it was Team USA versus Team World. It was actually something Reebok nudged us to do, and in partnership with them, we did. And it was a lot of fun. Different format than the Rogue Invitational. The Rogue Invitational is a multi-day event. The CrossFit Invitational was a made-for-TV 2 hours series. So, no, it doesn't. It's not going to drive us going overseas or validate us taking it overseas. Our other previous events and our strong affiliate community overseas and the duration for which the games have been in the U.S. is what will take it overseas. At William Bled 2553, thanks Dave, really enjoy your week in review and perspective on various topics. Do you plan to make any leather patches with hook backing? Would love to add a personalized TDC patch to my Go Ruck and weight vest. Keep up the good work. Appreciate all you do for the CrossFit community. I probably will add some vests to my website soon, tdcmercantile.com. I have not yet, but probably will in the next few weeks. At Craig-PK5CC, Dave, how long for you to open your site for UK delivery on your oil and leather products, please? Also, when are the games going international? Just answered that on the previous content. For the international oil, I don't know if I got to look into if I could ship overseas, if I could ship oil. The oil mafia probably won't like that. Not that I'm having that sort of volume, but I don't know if I can, but I'll look into it. At GDoggyDog05, I'm a friend of Erik Preston from when I lived in California. He went to my church, and guess what? He introduced my passion, CrossFit, in 2021, and I went from 250 pounds and was able to do one pull-up in 2021 to being 180 and able to do 10 ring muscle-ups. And if it weren't for decimating my calf the day before 24.2, I'd be able to continue my CrossFit season. Just wanted to say I love the straight talk and honesty and love hearing the Bible stuff. But yeah, you only obviously got to share what you feel like sharing. Thank you. That is true. And I do that on a number of topics. I only share what I feel like sharing. Erik Preston, he works for CrossFit, great guy, seminar staff, flow master, now does media and content on the IG. Super cool to hear your journey. He went from 250 pounds in 2021. 4 years later, he's 180 pounds. And was this guy, not Erik Preston. This guy's a friend of Erik Preston. And was able to do one pull-up in 2021. And now can do 10 ring muscle-ups. Man, that's an incredible journey and incredible progress in such a short time frame. Thank you for sharing that. Super cool story. And that's the power of CrossFit right there. At Byron Smith 4919, hey Dave, as you read through the Bible, have you thought about attending a church? No, I haven't, and I don't think I will through this journey at this point. No plans on that. All right, that's pretty much it for the weekend review. Big week coming up, just a lot of stuff going on, quarterfinal registration, and so make sure if you're a quarterfinal athlete to register so you can compete and get on the leaderboard. I'm probably going to head to Colorado for a couple days this week for some Army work, and have a few other things going on, but excited about this upcoming week. All right, thanks for tuning in. If you have any thoughts or comments, as always, put them in the comment section. Thanks.